not deceiving you. This is backwards on my Yankee hat because the Yankees played backwards, so that's what it is. Down in Sports Talk in the building, Riverside.fm is the spot. I am left-handed, and over there,
Nah, it's
not over there,
over
that
there.
way, yeah,
Yeah,
that way. It's Yada
we
Bear, part
we
himself.
switch spots. I know.
Over
I was
there's
like,
Yada Bear, yeah, you know. We're in the building right now. We over here doing a situation and making it seem like we still doing what we do. And sometimes you gotta do some change, man. Some That's what we doing. That's where we at. That's where we are. 8 o'clock, 9:30 in that area. Down in Sports Talk, left-handed, Yada Bear over there. Yada Bear's over there. Yada Bear's
yeah,
over
I'm
there.
on this side now.
What's good with you?
Not much. Just relaxing. Chilling here. It's election Tuesday. Is little
Yeah,
weird,
yeah, yeah.
little weird feeling in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. We just gonna have to see how this all gonna plan out. I saw it online. Someone was like, "This is America's gender reveal." So we're gonna see if it's gonna be a boy or a girl.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like this is where the rubber meets the road. You know, are we gonna deal with what we've been dealing with, or are we gonna blaze a new path, knowing that nobody's perfect? She has her shortcomings as we all do. You know what I mean? But hey, it's gonna be a bunch of firsts. The first woman of color. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
To hold it down, and it's gonna be a whole different vibe. I think, man.
Yeah.
I think that when Geraldine Ferraro ran back in the '80s, you know what I mean, and Hillary Clinton ran, it was alright. It was like, okay, we're gonna be in the White House. We knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? But this is serious right here,
Yeah. Yeah. This got
and she
real
could
serious.
literally actually win. You know what I mean? And I hope she does. And everybody do what they do. Um, but just keep it at a level where it's civilized, because it's a lot of
Exactly.
savages running around. But you want to always make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, but always keep your head on a swivel, stay abreast of what's going on around you. You know what I mean? So, but besides all that, let me talk about something for a second. This is down in
Uh oh.
sports talk right here. Shout out and much respect to my man Buckshot. Um, Last week, Buckshot was brutally assaulted on a Flatbush, Brooklyn street, and the video was circulating. And it was really, really bad. You know, let alone the fact from it was someone who's a loved and respected and heralded member of the hip hop community, Brooklyn. You know what I mean? It's deep, and I don't understand why they would assault this dude the way they did. I don't know if you saw the video, Broski, but
No.
it's bad. It's really really bad.
Oh wow.
It's it's terrible, you know, and I just want to hope my man get back to being that stand up person for the community, man. And all hip hop is kind of like going crazy right now. And I'm gonna say this for the people that was putting that video out and reposting it, because we know how y'all give it up.
Yeah.
It's not going unnoticed, right? And you're gonna have to explain yourself for that, because this is different.
Hmm.
This is not the everyday thing right here. That should not. I don't care who that was. It should have been. They shouldn't have been shown in that state, because it was really, really bad, Kim. It was really, really bad, yo. And again, as of right now, the homies, he's getting better. He's recovering. But the streets is hot. Brooklyn is hot. So again, I just want to say respect due to the whole boot camp clique, the whole duck down. Me and Drew Ha, Miss Price, the whole my man Rock Ness, my guy Rock Ness Monster, everybody, yo. Everybody, man. It's just bad. And Steel and Tech, right?
Hmm.
Steel and Tech. Um, Again, man, some of the best dudes in this whole thing that we call hip hop. Know them personally, man, and they're good brothers, man. And I don't like to see them in that mode of thinking where their mind is at right now. You know what I'm saying? Because Buckshot, no bobbing. Buckshot, no bobbing. Nobody, yo. You know what I mean? And he's a little dude, man. No disrespect. And he's like 5'4". You know what I mean? And but how? I, listen, hip hop needs to kind of like figure this out, and the homies or whatever that did that, you'd be better off turning yourself in, and that's the realest advice I can give you. Looking right in the camera, that's the realest advice I can give you. You know what I mean? Because that was one of the dudes that you shouldn't have went down like that. So again, just the streets is on chill right now, but it is what it is. But we'll talk about that behind the scenes. But yo, we in the building, man. Down in Sports Talk. I am left-handed. That's Yada Bear over there. Gotta get my directions right and
I
shit.
know, gotta
But
get it.
yeah. So we gonna get into some things. Yada Bear, as usual, is representing with a Philadelphia Eagles joint. You know what I mean? I saw one of the dopest moves. I know everybody's seen it by now. I've been watching sports for a long time, B, and I never saw nothing like that. I don't even know if you could do that in the Madden. Can you do that in Madden?
Nah, you can't do that in
Like,
Madden. But I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure you'll probably be able to do that next Madden. You'll be able to do that in next
yeah, I
Madden.
mean,
Okay.
I never. I mean, again, the Saquon, watching him from the Penn State days and all of that, and Giants, whatever. If anybody would do that, like maybe a month ago, and say, "Well, hey, what if somebody jumps over somebody backwards?"
Hmm.
He would be one of the first ones to say, "Well, Saquon can do it."
Yeah, I mean he has the track record of hurdling people. He's been doing that since the Penn State days. So,
Backwards, sir. Backwards
but I
basketball.
mean he had done the
You know what
slide
I mean? But
but
how he did
yeah,
it was so. How
but
he did it, it
backwards
wasn't.
was definitely totally.
It wasn't like he. How do you say it, Kim? It wasn't like he accidented himself into that move because the one he did before, he spun off the dude,
Yeah.
and I guess you're so aware, and your awareness as a running back in those situations is so fucking keen. Part of self is so keen that he
Hmm.
just spun off, saw the dude, and his reaction and his move was just to go up,
Yeah,
and the dude just went.
yeah.
You
It's
know
like
what I
what you
mean?
do. I think when I feel like when Saquon is running, he sees like two steps ahead of himself. Like he has he already sketched out a path. He had this path sketched out. So it seemed like once he did that spin move, and when he was doing the spin move, I guess he kind of like eyed like, oh, here's a defender right here that's coming up. And then I guess the way like the position that he came out that spin move it was like, all right,
Yep.
I
All I
gotta
think I
jump,
could do.
I gotta jump. So
Yep. Only thing I could do is do that.
yeah,
And he made a
so
couple more yards after that.
yeah,
That was the
it
thing.
took it took three dudes. It took three dudes to put him down after he backwards leapfrog,
Yeah.
the guy, and it still took three defenders. So I mean, listen, Saquon is what is week 9. Week 9 just passed, and he already has 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
what more
Kimmy,
can we
I'm gonna
say
tell you
about
something. I don't mean to
him?
cut your wisdom. Check this out. I seen something better than Saquon's play. And I came upon it by accident. It was in a Pee Wee game. They had to be maybe though 13, 12, 13 years old. The dude, the kid was running. He picked up the fumble, I guess, and was running for a touchdown. 60, 70, 80 yards. He was gone. He was like around the 20, 15, 10-yard line. The dude was coming up behind him. The homie kept running and came up like that play in the Super Bowl with Leon Lett. He came up behind the dude, s- just before the dude got to about maybe the 10 inside the 5 yard line,
Mm,
snatched the ball from the dude and went all the way back the other way for a touchdown. You got to see it.
that's wild.
He tracked that dude down like Dal Green. He tracked him down and took the ball from him and went all the way back the other way. That the last few weeks you've been seeing some incredible, like plays that you have to see like in the schoolyard, on the playground. You know what I'm saying? That they even getting dangerous and inventive with the touchdown celebration. You see that when he was standing on his head?
Mm-hmm.
They got that from a dude in college. A
Oh, okay.
college dude did that. And then Amon Ra St. Brown
Yeah.
decides he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of other people that.
Yeah.
So like you said, in a couple of weeks we're gonna see somebody trying to do the
Oh,
backward leap.
oh, of course. You're gonna see somebody either in college or one of these prestigious high school games, or in another NFL game. But I mean, this was two great. Well, actually, there was three actually great, plays that we had in that game. That Jahan Doxson, grabbed, how he got up and was able to corral the ball on that catch. And I mean, that Devontae Smith
Yeah, that
one-handed
one was yeah, that was
grab
been
in the end zone, and was still able to get both feet down was was crazy. I thought that was wild. But I mean, the game was interesting. A lot of ups and downs. I kind of feel like our coach, he can't have two good back-to-back coaching games. He like he had a great coaching game, against the Giants. It was wonderful. It was a master class. And then he comes out this Sunday and it's like he, picked one thing to obsess over, and that was 2 point conversions. I need to get a 2 point conversion. We need to score a 2 point conversion, and you would think that it was a close game when he's trying to score these 2 point, trying to do 2 point conversions. It's like Jacksonville didn't even score anything yet. Like just take the extra points.
right.
And and he does what he always do. For some reason, he has an issue with kicking the extra point, and he ice our own kicker. Like I never seen a head coach ice your own kicker. Like just have him standing on the sideline. Like I'm looking, I'm like, I'm like, is Jake Elliott hurt? Did he
Right.
pull something? Like what's
Right.
like? Why are we doing? Like why we keep going for going for two, and we didn't convert any of them? And I'm like, bro, let's stop. But I feel like we still got the job done. AJ Brown went down. He got like a little knee injury, but it wasn't nothing. It's nothing too serious. So we should be seeing him this week. Jalen Hurts, another game with no turnovers. He had the turnover bug early and on in the season. Still like after the bye week, he really got that button up. Um, no fumbles, no picks, not forcing the ball, not trying to just taking what the defense give you. Speaking of defense, our defense, had a great game. 2 picks by our linebackers. Zach Bond had a pick. N'Kobe Dean had a pick that iced the game at the end of the end zone, which was a great play.
Right.
His up play for him. Um, Slay didn't play. Um, he had Isaiah Rogers out there. He had a fairly, decent game. Our rookies has been killing it. Kenyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They've been playing lights out.
He's
Um,
gonna be the next great like Eagle guy that you're gonna gravitate towards. The
Quinyon
Cooper DeJean kid.
or
Yeah.
Cooper. Yeah, well, Cooper, he plays with a lot of heart. Um, I think they need to stop having him fill punts because he's too viable, in that secondary. and I don't want to see him get hurt on a punt return where we could have someone else, take those duties. But Quinyon is to me amazing. Like he's having a really great season this year. A lot of top tier receivers that be on the side, they're not producing as much, with him in coverage. Um, and I'm super impressed, and I feel like the future of our secondary is in good hands with those two guys. And when we think about Cooper, uh, he's a white corner. We don't really think of like corners of there's only one white corner that actually was really good, and it's Jason Seaborn.
Right.
Other than that, we don't really it haven't really been any like really stand out like white corners. That's not really a position that a white guy
I
dominates.
was gonna say something, but I'll leave that alone
Well,
because it was
I mean, it sounds crazy to say out loud, but when you think about the NFL, and when we think about dominant corners, it's only one.
right.
Just like when we think about running backs, it's only one. So um, I was happy about the victory, and you know what we got this week. You know what week 10 is. This is Dollars weekend.
Dallas week.
Yeah, and that man Dak, gonna be on the IR. He hurt his hamstring. His hamstring hurt, or he just trash. I mean, he said it. He said it himself on the sideline. He said we effing suck. He said that out his own mouth on the sideline. So
I think
that's what 61 million gives you, right?
that's yeah, and I think that at this point in the game, you know, we going into week 10.
Yeah,
For a franchise like the Dallas Cowboys to even talk about, throwing in the towel, it says everything you need to know.
yeah.
But forget all that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What can you say?
Speaking
I
of
was
former
expecting
team,
I was expecting my team to get shellacked. But we really showed up. Even though we had our top two receivers out, and they're gonna be out for a period of time.
hmm
I'm starting to come around on Baker Mayfield. You know, you're gonna get what you're gonna get out of him, but he's gonna give you what he will give you. And when he's on his game, um, I think that he's one of the maybe top few quarterbacks in the league as we look around the league and see what's going on because he's consistent with his numbers. I mean, he makes his mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes.
I
You know
mean,
what I mean? At this point in the game,
Baker
but
always makes his.
I'm looking at a couple of things that the couple of false start penalties that weren't called against Kansas City. How my secondary is still trash. How they let DeAndre Hopkins just make mincemeat out of them. You know they had one of those David Tyree plays. It was like three dudes on him, and he
Yeah,
still got the ball to Hopkins. He
yeah,
still caught the ball clean,
that was
right?
wild.
And
But
and so I feel like my team is still a work in progress as we speak. Ty Bowles, you're supposed to be a defensive minded dude. We're going to get into that 2 point conversation, Browski. But I think that Todd Bowles, you're supposed to be a defensive minded dude. And then since you've been there, man, this defense has been suspect. It's been trash. It's played up to its potential a few times. It's won a Super Bowl. I can't front. But at the end of the day, defensive showings like last night, and I could name a few of them, right? If we're gonna keep it all the way green. But I think right now where we are, I think that the best we could do at this point is 5-5, because I'm really anticipating our bye coming up at week 11, and then after that, Browski, we can go 7-0. We got New Orleans twice. We got Carolina. We got the Chargers. We got the Cowboys. We got the Giants. Come on, yo. I'll take 5-5 going into the bye because we got the 49ers coming up this week.
That's another, and that's Christian McCaffrey welcome back game.
But there you go. So just get over this hump. You know what I mean? Get to the bye, and then after that, it's on you because there's 7 winnable games. 7 winnable games. Look at that schedule. Look
No,
at the
no,
Buccaneers
no,
schedule after
no.
the bye.
It's definitely some winnable games there,
Some,
but
all of them shits is winnable.
I would have to say some right now because right now you missing two key parts,
I mean, the
and
way
and
we
and
played
and,
last night against Kansas City.
and I yeah, but again, you Baker gonna still do Baker things,
Yeah.
So
And the way look, we gonna win 2 games against New Orleans. We gonna beat the Giants. We gonna beat Dallas. We gonna beat New Orleans twice. Right? What game we? I mean,
I mean, listen,
if we don't win double-digit games, I'm not saying okay. That's 7 games right there. We go 5-5 or 4-6 into the bye. We're gonna have to win 10, 11 games to make the playoffs, and that's gonna be our run right there. We got to. This it's set up for us. It's set up.
it is set up, but again, no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, so it's gonna be a tough road. Um, and you got Baker Mayfield, and like you said, the defense a little suspect. Like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so I can see Baker giving up one game, and I can see the defense giving up a game. So that's 2 games right there. You on some late drive, late type, shenanigans.
yeah.
And especially the way that your coach has been coaching. Very conservative. When you got the chance to go for the win over an undefeated team without your 2 best players,
On the
you know,
road,
on the road, like you said, you expected to go in this game and getting smashed. Like this is gonna be, they're gonna run us out the building. But yet, it was a highly competitive game, and y'all came back with the chance to win it on the road and just go home. Walk off.
and would
Go
have been the
ahead.
talk of the and would have been the talk of the league.
It would have been a talk of the league, and instead, Todd Bowles, you know,
With
went
your
home
scary halfway crook ass.
scared, scared and shook.
Shook.
That's right. And
Scared to death, scared to look.
and instead, yeah, and instead of going for two because you had the momentum, the defense was gas. The defense was gas, and I feel like they wouldn't got as much backlash if he would have went for two and not converted instead of not going for two, kicking the extra point, and then getting smoked in
And then
overtime.
letting them walk down the field on you in
Yeah,
overtime.
yeah. So I would rather, like, well, we took a chance. We went for two. We wasn't. We was looking to get blown out in this game.
Right.
We don't have none of our offensive weapons. Both our weapons are gone. And instead, I think he took the sucker away, and and he got served in overtime like a
And
sucker.
and I think that's not an indictment on his coaching because again we seen Todd Bowles, and I'm not even gonna blame it on the 2 point conversion. I'm gonna look at it like we didn't even get a chance because I see what he's thinking. Like okay, overtime, they get the ball, we get the ball, or we get the ball first, or whatever the case may be. But at least we're gonna get a chance to touch the ball.
Nah.
Baker called tails, it came up heads.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay. And they walked the ball. They walked the ball. Who was that dude, man, that kept getting burnt? It was his first game. Evans, I think it was. Oh my god, he was getting burnt worse than Jamel Dean.
Yeah, he was getting torched,
He was getting
but
killed out there,
but
yo.
see, but that's my reason. I wouldn't trust the defense in overtime in Kansas City
He
against
was get
Patrick
yo. He
Mahomes.
was getting. He knew it too because his head
Yeah,
was down.
yeah, he
You know what
kept
I mean?
he was getting smoked the whole game. So you know how easily Kansas City was able to score the whole game. You had the chance to negate all of that and just laugh in their face. At Kansas City, at Arrowhead, undefeated. You get knocked off by the Buccaneers without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. That would have been a slap in their face. And like I said, Todd Bowles went out. He went out the sucker way. And and I gotta say this about the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They're the worst 8-0 team I've seen. You know, and it's wild because you're like, what? They undefeated. How can they be the worst? They undefeated. Like it's no. Like each of these games, each of those 8 games, they're gonna easily lose. You know, they haven't really looked that dominant out there. You know, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Too, and it's like a wide receiver revolving door in Kansas City, and some way, somehow, Andy Reid keeps finding a way to win, and it's like Patrick Mahomes is able to somehow elevate these guys into winners and into stars. It's almost given Tom Brady-ish, in um, New England when he didn't have any real receivers. Tom Brady didn't really have the number one receiver until he had Randy Moss, and it was at the end of his career.
Mm.
So I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes and almost in the same light, like like that. He had Juju, he had and now he got Hawkins, and it's like Hawkins was looking dead to right in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes to Kansas City. He looked like DeAndre. He wants to look like DeAndre Hopkins from the Texans
Mm.
and from Arizona. I'm like, wow, this is wild. But here and there, I'll say we just have to see what happens in the playoffs. Speaking of the playoff, um, the Ravens. Ravens look real good, but they always look good in the regular season. Um, I didn't know what Denver thought it was going to happen playing against Lamar and them. They went up there and they squashed these
They
guys.
they they smashed him. They brought him back to reality, and I think
Yeah.
that now is the time of the year when the cream is going to rise to the top. We need to talk about also about the trade deadline that was today, where the Lions went and got Zadarius Smith from the
Great move.
Cleveland Browns. So again, the beat goes on in Detroit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They got the top one of the top guys, defensive pass rushers in the league, and now they're gonna really make some noise. A couple other moves were made, but I think
Like,
that right now is the time of the season where you're gonna see the teams that are supposed to be in the playoffs be in the
hmm
playoffs. You know, um, after week two, we would sit here talking about, oh wow, the New Orleans Saints are crushing everybody. They got 90 points in 2 games.
yeah. Now,
And now there's coaches out of a job. He got
now, now,
fired.
now Dylan's
Like,
Island's at home.
you know what I
You
mean?
know.
And so again, it could turn on. It could turn. So again, the teams that are on the periphery right now, now's the time to kind of hurry up because it's week 10. And speaking of, week 10 is pick your guy week. All right. In the after the Down in Sports Talk Facebook group, pick your guy week. Again, we're dipping into that. Those points will count. But yeah, man, you're looking at teams like, the Eagles, they putting it together. You know what I'm saying? They definitely putting it together.
Yeah. 4 straight wins.
While the Cowboys are falling apart. When do you guys play Washington?
We played them, I believe, after the Cowboys, and I believe it's a Thursday night game. So Thursday night games is always a tricky, tricky game there. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you 1 second. We play
Play Washington November 14th.
Yep, yeah, right after the yeah, yep. Next
and then
week,
you play
Thursday.
Washington December 22nd.
Yep. So that first Washington game is a Thursday night game. So Thursday night games are always a little shaky, because it's going to be on short rest, it's a quick turnaround. But that's going to be a real test, between for us and Washington. And speaking of the Commanders, they actually made a really great move by trading for Lattimore. You
Yeah,
know,
Marshawn Lattimore.
they
Yeah,
gonna get Marshawn Lattimore,
yeah,
and they only brought him there for one reason, and the reason is this guy named AJ Brown.
right.
You know, because that was the one area where they was really light at, is in the
The secondary.
secondary. So bringing in Marshawn Lattimore um, is a good help, but I'll still say this: we got two guys. You just bring in one. We
I
still got
mean,
we got two
you
guys,
know, when you know what I'm saying.
and we got Saquon. Excuse me, we got a
I
guy named
mean,
Saquon Barkley that's
it
elusive.
sound like we're gonna have to get Rev T on the line in a minute.
I mean,
Um,
you could definitely bring him in. Look, we got a guy named Saquon that does leapfrog and hold guys backwards. Okay,
backwards, son.
okay. We got a guy is what week 9 going to week 10. He already got 1,000 yards rushing. So you know, I'm telling you, each game, I feel like somebody in New York should be fired in the front office. This is ridiculous. Like each week, it's a slap in the Giants'
Yep.
face, and it's a
Li-
slap in the
literal,
Giants' fans'
literal
face.
and figurative. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Like,
right.
how did you let this man leave the facility? You give him whatever he wants. You know, you give him the money, because look at y'all now. Look at y'all. Terrible.
Yep.
I
And
can't.
who, like again, like who would you rather be? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And the Giants, as the franchise, they're supposed to have, to be the alleged smarter one. I think Saquon came out ahead, and he ended up, where he wanted to be. And the Giants are looking like idiots,
yeah.
and that's just what it is. And it speaks to where they are as a franchise. Where you just let this guy literally, you could say anything. You traded him for nothing. You let him walk out the door. You treat him like garbage. You know what I mean? Because and all of that, those statements would be true. This
Yes.
guy was 40% of your offense. You let him walk out the door.
Yeah.
Just like this guy was 40% of your offense, and you gave all the money to somebody who wasn't even, at a point where you could trust him, and hadn't proven anything or done it.
And
Excuse
you
me,
still
done
and
anything.
you still can't trust this guy. So
And he's still, so at the end of the day, Saquon came out ahead.
yeah,
Um, we talked about it behind the scenes a little bit. What up, Riverside? Um, Behind the scenes a little bit, how that move that Saquon performed. You got to see it. If you haven't seen it, then I'm sorry for you. I've been
yeah,
watching football for a long time, right? And I never seen a move like that. Period.
yeah. It was
Period.
wild.
You know what I mean? Um, and that's just what that is right there. But again, I feel like Saquon Barkley was the guy to make that move. You know what I'm saying? If somebody had to do that, then it would be Saquon. Down in Sports Talk, we are in the building. Give me 1 second. Hold it down, Brasky.
Yeah, yeah. And then not only that, this Thursday, we got a big game going on this Thursday. AFC North game, Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now this is a part of the season now where we're going to get a lot of divisional games going on. Um, and what what's crazy too? I just want to say this about this Eagles Jacksonville game, that they flexed that game out of the Sunday night football game for the Colts and the Vikings, and that game was trash. Who wants to see old behind Joe Flacco at prime time? And I just thought that that was wild that they will flex our game out of Sunday night football for the Vikings and the Colts.
Man, listen.
Like that game was
I
hot garbage. And
I'm
Joe
I'm
Flacco looked every bit of 40 in that game.
let me tell you something. that game right there, when people talk about the NFL is fixed and it's rigged, that Vikings Colts game, I had the Colts plus 5 on one card.
Oh yeah.
I had the Vikings plus a half on the other card. I knew that I was gonna win. I knew that.
Mhm.
Colts plus 5. Remember, Browski.
Yeah.
2 minutes left. The motherfucking part of me, I'm feeling myself. We on Riverside FM, so I'm flipping. The the Colts had the ball. I'm like, I bet I'm good.
Mhm.
Colts gave the ball back to the Vikings, and I said, you know what?
We got a problem.
We got a problem. And they getting ready to score, and they scored to me at 21-10
Yep.
and blew my card out the water.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I think that the Eagles are just getting it together. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise that they flexed y'all out. Maybe they got something coming down the line where y'all can flex back into and it should. I think that they owe y'all one at this point because the
I
whole nation should have seen Saquon Barkley do that backward.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
um, and knowing that that is getting ready to pop off, and Minnesota is kind of taking a step back a little bit, showing who they are. Um, and in the NFC South, you got the Buccaneers doing what we do. The Falcons, are gonna be where they are. Then you got the NFC West. You got the Seattle. You got San Francisco doing what they do. But over in the AFC, man, I feel like Buffalo, they can't seem to get out their own way. They're supposed to smash Miami,
Well, I mean,
and
you gotta think of it this way.
mhm,
Still early, wasn't that cold up there, so it's still favorable Miami. Um,
it was two of first. It was his first game back, right?
two. Was it the first game or was it the second game? I think it was the
Might have
second
been a
game.
second. I don't know.
I think it was the second game back.
Yeah, second game back. Second
Yeah.
game.
So he was more comfortable, but at the end of the day, Miami still can't beat Buffalo, and that's you know they still can't beat Buffalo.
What are we doing about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, they made a move today also. You know, they brought in wide receiver Mike Williams, right? Yeah,
Yeah, from the Jets. Right, right,
from the
right, right,
Jets.
right.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Once again getting these guys out of here. Um, so I think adding Mike Williams is definitely going to help the offense. It should help Pickens a lot
Hmm.
and Russ because Mike Williams, he's a deep ball threat. You don't gotta throw. He's not the guy you throw to on a
The
slant
stretch the field.
or you
Right.
know uh, um quick out. No, he's a guy that he's a go route. He's a
Hmm.
stop and
Hmm.
go, and he stretches the field. So that will open up more passing lanes for Pickens, um, for the tight end, and it should also help their running game a little bit more too. And it's gonna help Russ out a lot too because Russ still has a pretty decent deep ball, so he has somebody who can air the ball out to, and help with making some big plays. So that should help the Steelers out, especially on the back end of their schedule because that's when it's really rough for them. A lot of divisional games, on the backside of the Steelers' schedule, and they basically going to be fighting for their playoff life. And I
Hmm.
kind of feel like with what the AFC North is, I feel like whoever win the division, you got to win the division to get into the playoffs because the AFC is so close.
Right. It's stacked. Hmm.
It's such a stacked conference with so many teams that
Hmm.
you know who could be fighting for those last two playoff spots. So I feel like in that division, you gotta win the division to guarantee your spot in the playoffs, and it's going to be tough because Baltimore is now clicking. You know, um, I still can't count out the Bengals just yet. You know, not not just yet, but you got to deal with the Ravens, and you gotta You still gotta play them twice. You know,
Right.
you still gotta. I believe they still gotta play the Bengals twice, and I think they gotta play the Browns one more time. So it's gonna be tough. What like what are we doing with the Texans? Um, it seems like the Texans are on a downward spiral right now.
Yeah, I mean, they may be accused of believing their own hype at this point. They got all these guys, the free agencies and trades, and they added on. Plus, with the season that CJ had last year, are we talking about a sophomore jinx, or are we talking about a slump, or are they just not living up to the hype? Or, I mean, the Houston Texans are supposed to be, the next best thing coming out of the AFC. They're supposed to dominate that division. Look at who they got in the Indianapolis, Jacksonville, and who else? Tennessee. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So Houston was supposed to be the class of the South, if not the AFC.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, to answer your question, what are we doing with them? It's week 10, Browski. I mean, you still got a nice, size of games left to kind of prove and do what you got to do. But you need to get hot towards the end of the season because Baltimore is not waiting on nobody.
No. Right now, when we look at the AFC, it's like a two-horse race right now. Chiefs and Ravens. And then you have Buffalo. You know, standing in the background. Trying to steady themselves in this race. And
So
huh?
now, as I say, so who's that fourth team? You got Buffalo, Kansas City.
So
Um,
the fourth team technically should be Houston, but
hmm
we don't know. It could be the Steelers. Um, that fourth team is still to be determined. You know, it's yeah. I can't say Houston because I can't trust them. I guess we have to wait and see. When Nico Collins come back, because without Nico Collins, they're not the same type of team,
right.
and we definitely see his importance. For that squad, and also the defense definitely fell off a lot from last season.
Right.
Not hearing no noise from Will Anderson. None of those guys up in the front. You're not hearing anything from the guys. So um, something got to give. They, like you said, we're going to week 10. They got to definitely start ramping up. Um, let's talk about the class of the NFC. The Detroit Lions went into
Yeah.
Green Bay and dominated that
And
game.
handled their business like a team that's on a dominant upswing is supposed to.
Yeah, like
You
they went
know.
in there, terrible weather,
Mm-hmm.
and handled the Packers. Um, at the final score would make it seem like it was very competitive. But if you watch the game, it wasn't competitive at all. They basically squashed them, and this is before adding that other edge rusher that they just got. So we can just imagine what that situation gonna look like within the
Mm-hmm.
next 2 weeks once he really get acclimated into the defense.
Right.
Um, but Detroit's a problem. Detroit's a real problem. Um, they are the real deal. They are the class of the NFC this year, and I feel like they just build off from what they accomplished last season.
The rest
One.
of the rest of the Lions schedule is at Houston,
Mm,
Jacksonville,
mm,
at Indianapolis,
mm,
Chicago,
mm,
Green Bay, Buffalo,
mm,
at Chicago, at San Francisco, and they finish the season against Minnesota Vikings at home.
mm. That's an interesting schedule.
I
I'll
mean,
say that because we don't really know what Minnesota is.
mm,
That's the and we don't really know what Green Bay, what Green Bay is too, because Jordan Love, the kid is hurt. He's not 100% out there.
Right.
You can clearly see that. You know,
Okay. So when they come from their bye, which is they're going to be on their bye week this week, they got at Chicago, San Francisco, Miami, at Detroit, at Seattle, New Orleans, at Minnesota, and they close out the season against Chicago Bears. That's the Packers.
mm. That Miami game is interesting because it's in Miami. Now, if that Miami game was in Green Bay, I would say Green Bay would have been favored. But it's in Miami.
No, the Miami game is in Green Bay.
Oh, it is. Oh, well
Mm-hmm.
then, okay. But we all know
Yep.
that. Well, we all know how Miami plays in cold weather,
Mm-hmm. Yep. The
so I can
Miami
see that as a
game.
dub.
They got Miami at home. They got San Francisco at home. They got New Orleans at home, and they got the Bears at home.
They should be New Orleans. San Francisco can be a 50-50 game depending on, um, the health of Christian McCaffrey and Debo Samuels. Um, Chicago, that should be a dub. Um,
Now look at Minnesota's schedule. They got Jacksonville,
mhm.
at Tennessee, at Chicago. What is this? At Jacksonville, at Tennessee, at Chicago. Then it's home Arizona, home Atlanta, home Chicago, at Seattle, home Green Bay, and at Detroit.
So I see what the league is doing. You see what the league is doing. I see what the league is doing. The league is going to make sure that those last 2 weeks are the most important weeks of their season, because right now Detroit's what, 7-1. They're 7-1 right now. I mean, it's still a tight race because you got Minnesota right there behind them. What 5-2, 6-2? Yeah, six. They should be 6-2. And then you got the Packers right there. I think with the Packers, what, 5-3, something like that. Yeah, I think they should be like 5-3. So it's still a tight race. So I feel like those last two weeks of the season, where the three of them is somehow going to meet each other, within those last 2 weeks, is going to be very important. So I
Yeah,
see I see what the NFL is doing. I
yeah.
see I
That
see.
and looking at the schedule like that. That NFC North is going to be really really crazy. And
Yeah,
again,
it's
like you
gonna it's
said,
gonna be like it's like the AFC North. It's gonna be
it,
great. The
it's
last couple of games of the season is gonna be wild.
it's all set up for something crazy to go on at the end of the season. College football playoff rankings came out tonight.
Yeah.
Um, I felt like when you talk about that, I feel like October going into November now. This football season in particular is very different because again, a lot of these games are bowl games in the regular season.
Yeah.
When
12
you talk
teams.
about you talk about the rankings, what stood out to you in regards to the first college football playoff rankings that were dropped tonight?
Um, the fact that we when the last time we seen Alabama at number 11.
Mm.
You know, um, the fact that Colorado number 20. That was good move. Um, Crazy the fact that um Georgia wouldn't get a bye. What was it? BYU would get the bye instead of Georgia. So technically, it's Oregon, Ohio State,
BYU.
BYU, then Miami. Shout out to Miami number 4.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say like I'm not really, you know what? I'm nicely proud of my Miami Hurricanes, but the fact of the matter that every single game that they play is always a dip and tuck. It's a heartbeat hotel game. It's
Yeah.
down to the wire. When we talk about these college playoff rankings right here, this is not how it's going to end up. We know that.
Oh no. Oh no.
This was the
Mm-mm.
first one that threw it to the wall. Salute to all the teams that made it to the college football playoff rankings. But I'm gonna say this from a personal level. All right, I'm only going to count the top 12.
I was gonna say that, Boise State at number 12.
You
That's
know,
interesting.
I mean, you look at some of these teams that are in it. You go 12 is Boise, 11 Alabama. You said 10 is Notre Dame. What you gonna switch? BYU and Georgia, because you said technically BYU was third, Georgia would be
Yeah.
ninth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Indiana,
Yeah.
Tennessee, Penn State, Texas is fifth,
Yeah.
Miami is fourth, right?
Mhm.
Ohio State and Oregon.
Yep.
Um, when you talk about the undefeated, you got Oregon, Miami, Indiana, Brigham Young,
Yep. BYU. Yep.
and which one of those teams are going to end up undefeated going into the last college football playoff ranking? You think um,
Probably.
Indiana,
Probably.
with the schedule that they have going on in the Big Ten, they're going to
Well,
end up
Indiana played
undefeated?
Ohio State this
Right.
weekend, so that
Right,
might be
right, right,
a
right. So
loss right there.
there they go, right there.
Yeah.
So again, this thing is gonna, shake and switch up. I'm looking at down the line a team that's outside of the top 12 right now, Brasky. A team that I'm looking at is SMU.
You know what's so funny? I was looking at SMU, and I was also looking at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is one of those top teams that started the season.
Mhm.
What are we going to do with Colorado? I mean, they're bowl eligible.
I
Let's
mean,
go, Deion Sanders. Let's go. We
yes,
said it. You win 6 games, you're bowl eligible.
yes.
Um, you know, um, People are saying, I'm hearing people talk. The only way that they can get into a college football playoff scenario is if they win the Big 12. Um, I'm thinking that Colorado just getting into the top 20 is putting people on notice. I think that with a 6-2 record that they're up in there. Look at Louisville; they've got 3 losses. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So again, you're not the only team that has 2 losses that's in the top 25 right now. So you should stick your chest out,
You
be
got
proud of
some too.
yourself.
I mean,
But
you
I'm
got
gonna go.
Alabama with 2 losses. Texas
Yeah,
A&M with two
Alabama's got
losses.
2 losses. Texas A&M, LSU,
LSU,
Ole
Ole
Miss,
Miss,
Kansas
Penn
State.
State.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So I
Um,
think the fact that number one they got the 6 wins. Okay. When
yeah,
the last time Colorado had 6 wins?
right.
Come on now. They are ranked in the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When the last time Colorado ranked in the top
Making the
20?
top
Oh,
20.
last year when Dion, was coaching,
Brought them
right?
back from the dead.
Exactly. And three, they are bowl eligible. When the last time was Colorado bowl eligible? So I'm not even looking at them, making the college playoff. And if they don't make the college playoff, I don't see that as a disappointment. The
Right.
fact that he won 6 games, got them bowl eligible, this is moving in the right direction.
That's right.
It's not gonna
Absolutely.
happen overnight. Not
Mm-hmm.
when Dion first got the job, we said it's gonna take about 3 years. You know, that's why he's kind of ahead of the curve right now because I didn't think in year two he'll be in
He'll
the
be in the
bowl
top
game,
20.
top 20 in the bowl game.
And the bowl eligible off the
Yeah.
rip.
So who thought that? And also, who would have thought that they would even have the chance to win the Pac-12? To even be considered, one of the teams that can probably win a conference. But I think right now, him, winning these 6 games, you got two star players on your team that people put them in the Heisman, conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your team has greatly improved on both sides of the ball in just 1 year. You know, so I think he definitely this is the big accomplishment. He should be proud of his program, and if the season ended today, he should be proud of the position that he is in right now. So anybody who's talking trash about Dion, they just have unrealistic goals and have unrealistic expectations for this man at this school that's been dead in the water for decades. Okay, Colorado been dead since what? When the last time Colorado was relevant?
When they was when they had what's my man the quarterback
Uh,
oh God, what's his name
no, not Cordell, right? Cordell?
oh God, I was getting ready. He used to play for the Cordell Stewart.
Yeah, Cordell. Yeah, Cordell
Yeah,
Stewart.
Cordell Stewart.
Yeah,
They
so
had
come on now.
Westbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had
So
some. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
exactly. All of these new age Colorado fans, they need to chill out because I know those diehard Colorado fans that been fans of them for decades are actually celebrating and should be happy with where their team is at right now.
Right. That's right. That's right. You know, and again, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about how, Colorado has, done a thing, on a parallel level of when Dion was at Jackson State
Yeah.
doing his thing. So again, he just stepped it up a notch, and he
Mhm.
bought that. He said he bought his Louis luggage with him.
And yes, he did.
And he's continuing to show and prove. And now, Travis Hunter now is I think the odds-on favorite for the Heisman Trophy, and that just puts another feather in Deion Sanders' cap as far as what he's accomplished at Colorado. If he can get a Heisman winner, and then he could turn his son Shador into a number one draft pick. And I mean, what else you want this dude to do,
Exactly. We want him to go out here in year two and win a national title. Like that's unrealistic.
man?
Come on now. Super
So I
unrealistic.
think that with the everything that's being done in college athletics right now, not just college football and college athletics with the transfer portal,
Yeah.
the coaches leaving. Let's not forget about that,
Yeah.
Kimmy.
Yeah.
You know what I
Coaches
mean?
leaving,
Coaches,
going to better
leaving.
situations.
The transfer portal and
Yeah.
NIL and all of
Yeah.
this. You know what I'm saying?
It's
It's
a
a
lot of
lot to deal
variables,
with.
but he's
And
still
here's
doing.
another thing I'm gonna say, Kimmy, and keep it on the Dion tip. Dion's not like the coaches who say, you know what? I've been around here a long time. I think it's time for me to go. I can't handle what's going on right now. I can't
Yeah.
deal with it. The
Yeah.
game has gotten, the game has passed me by. I can't sit up in somebody's house and tell them I'm gonna offer this kid $1 million. You know what I mean? And not make sure that their kid graduates.
Yeah.
But Deion Sanders is saying, you know what? Your kid, I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know. Your kid is going to be somebody. But
Yeah.
now what I want to do is I want to get him an education. You know what I mean? And so they gravitate towards that. You know what I mean? So Dion is winning, and these other guys can't gravitate with the truth. They want to sell you a dream, and then move on to their next dream, and leave the kid stranded. What else are they supposed to do? So
Yeah.
now they have options, and now these coaches can't take it. They're ready to go because they don't have the control anymore.
Mhm.
And Deion Sanders, to me, is a coach that has the control, is going to keep the control, and is not willing to acquiesce the control to anybody.
True.
It's my way or the highway. Because
Exactly.
I got 10 just like you. They can't wait to get in here.
Facts.
And I think that that's what Dion is approaching at Colorado. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
From here you go 20, you go 15, you go 10, and who knows? You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to acknowledge that because again, it needs to be acknowledged. That Deion Sanders, besides what a lot of people said that wasn't going to happen, is turn this team into a bowl eligible squad. Let's not
Mhm.
stop there. Let's just keep on doing what you need to do. You know what I mean? Big 12 championship game notwithstanding.
Big
You know what I
12.
mean?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows? You know what I'm saying? Anything can
Who knows?
happen.
Sky's the limits right now
Hmm.
for that
Can
team.
I
Really.
can I shout out Gonzaga
There you go.
back in the building?
Oh boy.
I just wanted to say that it feels good. College basketball, all right. Gonzaga beat the brakes off of Baylor, who was supposed to be considered one of a top team this season. Um, I'm not even in the mood to really talk about college basketball yet because it hasn't, dawned on me the NBA just tipped off. College football playoff rankings just dropped. Yankees just got done in the World Series,
Just got
you
dusted.
know, um, and that stuff going on. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know we will be talking about college basketball in the upcoming shows. You already know what it is. Syracuse over here all day. All right.
Shout out to Juju Watkins.
Yeah.
USC first game she came out, dropped 27 points. Straight up picked up where she left off. Last season. Um, New and improved UFC team. That the team was really, really dope. Transfer
Mm-hmm.
portal at
Yep.
its
It's a
best.
beautiful thing, ain't it? The
Yeah,
transfer portal is a beautiful thing.
beautiful thing.
You know
So
what I mean? It's a,
definitely looking forward for the real jump start of women's college basketball once again. Looking forward to seeing the Paige Beckers, we're seeing Juju, Fly J, seeing South Carolina can repeat. Notre Dame, it's so many dope women college teams that should be another exciting and competitive season once again. Um, go ahead, left.
no, no, no. I was just gonna pick up on what you were saying. Like, I'm interested in seeing who the next ones are.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be like South Carolina. Nobody's talking about them.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I'm interested in
It's
seeing
real
what,
quiet. It's real
yeah,
quiet.
Dawn Staley's got going on down there.
Mhm.
What is going on at LSU? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Kimoki. So again, like you said, Kim, it's going to be definitely interesting women's basketball to see who the next bright faces of the game are. Because we know about Paige, we know about
Mhm.
Juju. You know what I mean? Who are the ones that are coming up on the scene, and that's going to be interesting to find out. Um, yeah, I'm rocking with Syracuse. You already know what it is. Shout out to Adrian Archery.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's all that is with that. But yeah, we in the building, man. Down in Sports Talk, we in the house making it do what it do, and that's basically that. But yeah, so y'all the bear, what we getting down on? What we getting down on? What we getting down on?
I'm definitely have to get down on this Marcus Hayes, Joel Embiid debacle,
Right,
the showdown. That's happening here, and the fact that he got suspended for 3 games. Okay, not even to mention that this man hasn't even touched the court this season yet.
right.
The
That's
Sixers are
crazy.
1-5 right now, which is wild. But that's another story. But Marcus Hayes is a beat reporter here in Philadelphia. He also had a couple spots on ESPN, talking, about the Sixers. Well, he wrote mm, this really like trash article about Joel Embiid. Basically, just saying how he's not playing, criticizing him, about not playing, which is fine. He has every right to do that. You're a reporter. You're supposed to be able to criticize a player's play or action on the court. But when you start going personal and bringing up someone's dead relative
Right.
who bring up his dead brother who he named his son after to
Hmm.
try to make a point in your article, it doesn't sit well with me. It's like, when do we stop becoming being human? You wouldn't want him to bring up a dead relative that you was close to try to make a point. You know, and he wrote that Joel was in the locker room after the loss to Memphis. Marcus Hayes walked in. Joel approached him, and things got heated. People were trying to report like that Joel hit him, but no, he just he pushed him, and I'm not saying it was the right thing for Joel to do, but he's human. You push his buttons when you talk about his dead brother and his son. Certain things are off limit. To me, like family is off limit. You like I said, you can criticize him as a player, as a teammate, anything like basketball wise. But when you step outside of basketball and start getting personal, then that to me that makes you look weak. Make you look soft. And it got heated. And one thing that I kind of didn't like too is that Daryl Morey and Elton Brand like apologized to Marcus Hayes and not back up your star player. You know, because me personally, I would ban him from the locker room because why would I talk to you now?
Right.
Look at what type of person you are. Look at the things that you're writing about me that has nothing to do with basketball. So I would have banned them from the locker room. But these guys apologize to him, and then the league suspends him for 3 games. So the report was that Joel was going to come back and he's going to play tomorrow. So now that he's able to play, he's not going to be able to play until we play the Knicks. So now we have to wait. I think we play y'all next Tuesday or next either Monday or Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday, and now that's where now he has to wait for that because now he's suspended for 3 games. I think he shouldn't. I don't think he should have been suspended for 3 games. I was gonna say maybe 1 game, but 3 games. It wasn't. It was. It's not like he punched the guy. You know, he pushed him. So you
But
get. So you
I'm gonna
get.
say this.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this. They suspend Joel Embiid for 3 games. How many games is the reporter getting suspended for?
Exactly. Yeah. For writing something that like that trash. Like to me, like I said, he should be banned from the locker room. But I it's weird and thank goodness that Joel signed the extension before this happened. Because if I was Joel, like in the back of my mind, I'd be thinking like this organization is killing me. I hear it. I hear it. But if I was Joel, I would be thinking in the back of my mind like the organization don't even have my back. We supposed to be a family, and this outsider, come in here, talk trash about my family, and y'all basically rewarded him by letting him keep having access to us. You know, so I don't know. That's what I'm getting down on. That's what I'm getting down on. I'm getting down on that, and hopefully we can get a victory tonight. Paul George going back to the Clippers. Hopefully we can get another win. I mean, starting out the season 1-5 is
Lord have
wild.
mercy.
It's something that we did not expect this
Lord
at
have
all.
mercy.
Did not expect this at all. But it is what it is. I'm not jumping out the window because it's only 6 games. It's a long season. Oh, now we're laughing at that. Now we're
Yeah,
laughing
but
at that. But
it it, it happens, man, and it's early.
yeah.
It's a 65. I mean 82 game. I mean 65. I mean 82 game season. You know what I mean? So, but that situation with Joel Embiid, man, I feel like I don't, in my opinion, and I'm on the outside looking in. I don't feel like Joel Embiid deserves a suspension at all.
Okay.
That guy came into where Joel Embiid works.
Yep.
He came into his space, and he
Yeah.
was talking about something that, you know, he don't really have nothing to do with.
He doesn't.
His brother who passed away, may he rest in peace, didn't have nothing to do with it. His son that just came into the situation, they got nothing to do with it. If you
Yep.
can't talk strictly about me and what I do on the basketball court, then you don't have no business being here in the first place.
Yeah.
You don't have no business, even trying to construe a conversation when it has nothing to do with what goes on the basketball floor, and it's simple math. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and again, at the end of the day, I think that dude, some of these cats they get full of themselves, and they forget that they're reporters on stories first. Then they feel like, oh, okay, since I'm on this got this platform, I gotta say something outlandish or wild that's
Yeah.
gonna get me some publicity. You know what I'm saying? Um, the Hayes dude, I seen him on ESPN. This
Mhm.
popping up or whatever the case may be. But to say something about Joel Embiid like that, man, is kind of foul. Actually, it is foul. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah. It's
mean?
foul.
And I think he should be serve some kind of discipline for getting outside himself because again, as journalists, you don't have um, license to say anything just to make your story connect. How is that story? How is that connected to what Joel Embiid is doing on the court? I mean, it's
Exactly.
affecting it because that's
Or
his
not doing what?
family,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean. But then, what that got to do with you?
Yeah. It's no
That's my
integrity.
point. What that got to do with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
lack of integrity, and
Yeah, man. You
it's
know?
all about it. And it's something that we always say. It's all about clicks. Everybody's trying to get a clickbait, and now the clickbait kind of came into your reality because you almost got your head taken off
Right.
by a 7 footer, you know, 250 plus,
From from the deepest, darkest parts of
Cameroon.
yeah, you know what I mean. So they'll leave you somewhere where you can't be found. So again, at the
Exactly.
end of the day, you should that dude, the reporter Hayes,
Hmm.
who we should give a call to. And I'm not being funny or facetious at all. I'm getting ready to say something crazy. Rather, Browski sees it. Say this nigga about to say something crazy. He needs to check in with Geno Smith because from what I heard, Geno Smith was playing on the Jets. He refused to reimburse. So I'm not gonna say no names. He refused to reimburse a certain player
Hmm.
for some money,
Yeah, huh?
and he won't do that again.
Yeah.
So if you know what I mean, he won't do that no more. But again, that reporter, I'm glad that Joel Embiid didn't put pads and feet on him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so again, 3 games, do what you do. But the guy's been going through it. He hasn't played a game a minute yet. And he's suspended for 3 games.
Exactly. It's crazy.
So it's going. It seems like to me it's going to be a tough road for him to get to 65,
Oh yeah.
let alone 82. You know what I'm
Listen.
saying? So
I think the 65 is out the window, bro.
yeah, and for all you knuckleheads and weirdos out there that think that the season should be reduced to what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's only 82 games.
It's only 82 games as it is.
So I'm only getting 41 home games. So what are you trying to say?
I don't know. It's people that's I don't
That's
know
weird.
where we at
We
with it,
want to do
but
65.
um,
We want 66. Like that's weird.
I'm going to get down on um what am I getting down on? I'm going to get down on I got down on the New York Yankees last week. I'm going to get down on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. Todd Bowles, listen, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we get it. You got the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Bruce Arians, got all the publicity. Now it's shine time on you, homie. Right? We trying to remove you from those Jets days when you was garbage,
Whew.
right? You know what I mean?
Damn, he went back to that.
I haven't seen the defensive genius that you purported to be. You got my Tampa Bay Buccaneers not in a state of array, but just to a point where we should be better than what we are. No disrespect to the 4-5 record, it happens, but I'm just talking about the discipline on the field. We're still seeing bad play out there. We're still seeing suspect calls. We're still seeing, and I'm to the point now. Browski won me over. I'm like, yo, all right, we're gonna give Baker Mayfield a play. because he's doing his part, right?
Mhm.
So again, Todd Bowles, you got to get with the defense, man. Get at these dudes like how could you have this dude, man? DeAndre Hopkins make y'all look like weirdos out there. You got three dudes on him,
Yeah.
and he still pulled the David Tyree.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So again, Todd Bowles, that's what I'm getting down on. Down in Sports Talk, we're in the building, Riverside FM. Salute. This is where we're gonna be at. All right, this is left-handed right here. All right, it's Yada Bear over there. All right, and that's basically it. We're about to get up out of here. Yada Bear got a special mission. She's doing a science project on how Saquon Barkley did that backwards leap. She'll have a full report for us next week.
Yeah, check that out in May in 2026.
Yes, check that. Yeah, it'll be on Madden 2026. Very important night tonight, man. I hope everybody did their due diligence
Yeah.
tomorrow or later on this week. Um, what did you say, Bowski, behind the scenes? The boys and girls. What did you
Oh
say?
yeah. Oh yeah. This is America's
Gender
gender
reveal.
reveal
Yeah,
party. We're gonna see
yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
it's a boy or a
Absolutely.
girl.
So yeah, that was slick right there. I like that. We're about to get up out of here. All right. Salute to y'all. Make sure y'all check us out. You know what it is. Facebook group down in
Oh, don't
Sports
forget to
Talk.
put your picks in early. We got an early game this week. We got a Germany game.
Yep.
Germany
So make
game.
sure you get your picks in. Make sure you get your guy. Pick your guy. Pick your guy.
Yeah.
Week 5 we did it. Week 10 we're doing it, and we're also doing it in week 15. So make sure you get your guy in. We'll talk to y'all next week down in Sports Talk. We're gonna get a college basketball joint popping
Mhm.
sooner than later. All right.
Yeah.
We out. We'll
We
talk
out.
to y'all next week. Y'all be good. Don't go nowhere, Bowski. Peace.
Peace.
All right.